Greetings, Rajee Narinesingh here, transgender activist, author, and actress. So I'm doing this video from my kitchen, and I'm doing it in honor of all the many women around the world who are living very suppressed lives. There are a number of cultures around the world where women are still being treated as second and third class citizens and not able to live the dynamic lives that they would like to live. We here in America are blessed. Women certainly do have their rights. Many women are able to live the lives that they want because of the women's liberation movement and the progression of that. So we are quite blessed. But there's still women here that are suppressed for whatever reason. And misogyny exists all over the world, and it exists in different ways. Even here in America, recently, I started questioning how misogynistic America is still being when it comes to women and the way we view women in regards to the recent election with Hillary Clinton. Because I thought if anyone was going to win, she would have been the woman to win based on all of her experience. But anyway, misogyny is oftentimes disguised in different things, like with religion or culture. It's weaved into and threaded into the religion of the or the culture. And so I think a lot of women live in it and oftentimes don't even realize some of the things that are misogynistic about the culture because it's what they were born in, what they grew up in, it's what they know, it's what they're used to. I started thinking about misogyny recently again because I have thought about it a number of times. I was watching the ID channel, the Investigative Discovery channel, and oh my God, I'm addicted to that channel. When I tell you, sometimes it's like 2 in the morning, I'm watching it, and some of those stories are so gory, okay? But it's addicting. It's like I can't turn it off. I go from one to the next, and it's like 2 in the morning. I'm watching some horrific crime story, and then I'll hear a noise outside and start freaking out. And I'm like, why are you watching this channel? But recently there was a story on that got me thinking about misogyny and really taking a good look at it. I don't know, some of you might have heard this story. It happened a few years back. I think it was in Texas. And it is about an Egyptian guy. His name is Yasser Said, who came from Egypt, married an American white woman, and had two beautiful daughters. Oh my God, beautiful Amina and Sarah Said. And this man, like, tried to basically impose rigid Egyptian culture on his daughters in regards to the way women are supposed to behave and the dynamics of women in society. I'm thinking, really? Really? Egyptian culture? You bought your ass over here from Egypt, married a white American woman, and you had two children that happened to be half white and American, and you want to now impose Egyptian culture on them? And the rigidity of how women are supposed to act in that culture. If Egyptian culture was so important to you, why didn't you keep your ass over in Egypt, marry an Egyptian woman, and then you could have practiced your rigid Egyptian culture or mentality? Anyway, this story is so dynamic and complicated, and it's a lot to get into. But what ended up happening, I'll just give you the gist of everything. Amina, the older daughter, she ended up falling in love with this guy, and it was in school, and he was also, I think, in the karate class that Amina was taking, and basically they fell in love. And that would have been the only way that dynamic would have happened because she and her sister weren't allowed to really go out and socialize. So it was basically home, school, the karate class, homeschool the karate class, that sort of thing. But the boy's mom uh, was on this show, and she spoke about how beautiful and pure the relationship was. It was just, they both had such a light when they were together with each other. Anyway, this man, Yasser Saeed, ended up killing both daughters, Amina and Sarah Saeed. He murdered them in what he called an honor killing because he found out about the relationship and felt like, oh my goodness, his daughter just is disgracing the family by having a boyfriend in high school. Really? The mom, who I wanted to strangle, and I know, I do realize she was in the dysfunction and probably abused herself, but she would leave. It was like, lady, you're American. Take your daughters and go. And when she finally left, she ended up going right back with the two girls and basically drove them to their death. That's when he shot and killed both daughters. You may have heard about this Pakistani model. Oh, and by the way, Yasser Saeed is still on the run. He has not been caught. He's probably back in Egypt somewhere. But he's on the FBI wanted list and has not been caught. So justice has not been served for these two young, beautiful women. Anyway, this Pakistani model that I'm about to tell you about, young girl, I think in her early 20s, beautiful, became very popular over in Pakistan online. She would do like these YouTube videos, and I wouldn't say anything too out there. I mean, I guess for Pakistani cultural standards, it was. It was very cutting edge, and she was just, being a dynamic woman and expressing her freedom to be who she is, with the makeup and the hair and, not covering up and that sort of thing. Uh, Her brother ended up killing her in, again, another so-called honor killing. Now, I question, it's interesting that these honor killings are only done to women, to females. Like the men aren't doing things that are quote-unquote inappropriate. They don't have any indiscretions that they're practicing. No, but let's not forget, they're the exception. It's the women that are supposed to be held to the highest standard of that particular society. Bullshit. Bullshit. Double standard. Misogyny. Misogyny. Okay? And I got so angry because, these are girls that just were so dynamic and had so much life to live, and they're being murdered because of some so-called honor freaking killing. So I say, why don't we women start doing, and trans women included, start doing some honor killings to all these men who want to, keep these women suppressed and so-called in bondage, I would call it, but to live up to so-called societal and religious standards that they're not even living up to. Mm-hmm. Well, let's do some honor killings to the men. Well, no, you know what? No, no, no. We'll save their lives. We won't do honor killings. We'll just chop off their penises. Chop off their dicks. Chop off their cocks. Whap. Oh, Lord, talk about their whole lives being over. Oh, yeah, because, hey, wait, let me get a knife. I'm ready. But talk about their lives being over, honey. Yeah, and then say, how do you feel now? Because, a lot of it is they think with this and not this. But no, it's the hypocrisy. Let me tell you, I have basically been featured probably pretty much all over the world in some form or fashion, whether it's on a TV show or in a publication or on a online gossip site. So, because of that, I, on a daily basis, hear from people all around the world, some really wonderful people. But I also hear from a lot of these guys that live in these so called very strict, rigid cultures where women are suppressed, and the dynamic of a relationship between a woman and a man is, very, very structured and supposed to be to a certain standard. These men are contacting me with sexual pictures, trying to video cam with me and do, masturbate and have sex online with me. Very, very pornographic stuff. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And I think to myself, oh my God, the hypocrisy. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. Sexuality can be a beautiful thing. But all I'm saying is hypocrisy. It's like, you know, you're living in these cultures, and it also makes me think that a lot of these people that are living in these very strict, rigid cultures want to be more progressive, would like to, the men and the women, not just the women, the men and the women, because I know that there's some places where even men feel stifled, but they want to be more progressive. They want to live more dynamic lives, but because of the social rule and structure, they feel like they can't. That there's certainly consequences to pay, and especially for women. Especially for women. And unfortunately, a lot of these women, it becomes a life or death situation. So it's still going on, and we need, as a human race, to really recognize the beauty and the power of a woman, womanhood, the strength and power that womanhood has. As a trans woman, I can certainly look to biological women and see that. I'm able to see it. And I think everyone else is too. It's just that some of the men are intimidated by it. And even if it's subconscious, it's not consciously done, it's generational, it's cultural, wherever it's coming from, it's almost like they want to negate that power, because everyone on this planet came out of a woman. Everyone. Procreation, the process of procreation, the woman has so much more to do with that process. A man, maybe a few minutes in bed, and usually it's very pleasurable for them. And after their deed is done, their duty, their part of it, then it's up to the woman to carry the baby for 9 months. Once the 9 months is here, then she has to get this baby out of her, and then she has to feed and nurture the baby. Everyone that is walking on this planet has come out of a woman. There's a power and a beauty and a strength that women have, and it needs to be acknowledged. So I am doing this video for all the women around the world that feel suppressed, that feel stifled. Know your power. Know your power. And to all the men, I mean, come on. You know it. You might not want to admit it, but you know it. This power trip, come on. It's like, get over. Or if not, we're pulling out the knives. We'll take that manhood of yours right away. Whop! Love, peace, and blessings.